In a way, you could argue that add-ons and plugins are an indication of the love that a community has for a game. The more time people are sinking into add-ons and plugins to enhance the quality of their gameplay, I guess, is a direct reflection of the amount of time they're probably already investing into the game. I'm going to take you through my top 5 favourite plugins for this game, The Elder Scrolls. Now, these will reflect my gameplay, my particular style, my priorities as far as adventuring and crafting and all of that stuff goes, so they may not be yours. However, I guarantee you're going to see something that you haven't seen before if you're not using add-ons and plugins right now, and it'll put a strong argument forward as to why you should be investigating some of these fantastic additional pieces of software out there to make your gameplay experience just that bit stronger. Let's go. Now, the more observant out there might be wondering where the hotkey is for the mini-map on the top left-hand side of the screen. Long story short, there is not one, and I don't know how they missed this. It's right up on the very top of the list, especially when you get a game on this scale, this big, with this many things. It's way more quest intensive than Skyrim or Oblivion was. How do you not have a mini-map? And that bar up the top there is not too bad, but having to flick constantly between this and this and this drives you batshit crazy after a while, doesn't it? Now, up in the very top left-hand corner there, that is the mini-map plugin by Furrican, and I've currently got version 2.93. You can zoom in and do all that sort of stuff that you might want to do too, but look, the defaults for this, for me, are just fine. I really love it. It's a vital plugin. Go get it. There's not a lot of information from the default interface when it comes to combat, so there's an obvious gap in the market for an add-on that's going to give you that visual feedback and information about exactly what it is you're doing. Foundry Tactical Combat does exactly that. It will give you feedback based on the amount of damage that you're inflicting, but it'll also give you more detailed windows on your stats, any buffs and debuffs that are active on you or the enemy that you're fighting as well. It also enhances particular roles. It's got additional features for tanks, for healers, and for DPS as well. Let me just hit escape here. I'll go to settings, add-on settings, and then FTC here. You can see Foundry Tactical Combat. Damn, that's a lot of information right there. So you can really tweak this to be as complementary to your own particular playing style as possible. You can see all of this information coming up as well. This will give you constant visual feedback on any healing or any DOTs that you may have delivered, plus obviously damage that you've inflicted and all of that sort of stuff too. Now, unlock positions just by clicking on that. This is all the sort of information you can get. There's a new group frame here, which is good because as a healer running this mini-map, this tends to go right on top of where all the healing bars are. There's probably some feature somewhere that lets you move it. I've just never been that motivated to do it. On the right hand side here, I've moved to group frame. This is a more enhanced version of the personal stats bar down the bottom as well. So there's your stamina, your magicka, and also your hit points. Target buffs, this is the target's life bar, any debuffs that are active on it, incoming damage that's coming in, outgoing damage that's going out. These two windows here are constantly ticking it so you can see it. Player buffs that you've got, any debuffs that are active on you as well. Let's see how this stacks up in combat. So I've selected a bandit's strong arm here. I'm going to pre-heal just so we can see something going. And there we go. Character for a while, so it's a bit clumsy, but thumping stuff always works. There we go, 1.2 heavy attacks up there as well. No. And then in our left combat, you can see that it also tells me how much experience I got as well. I've got the minor sorcery buff running down the bottom left hand side, and I'm all charged up on this this elite skill that I've got as well. There you go. What more can I say than that? Bethesda and ZeniMax, I love you, but your default interface for the guild stores in the Elder Scrolls is awful. It really is, and I'm being so diplomatic when I say it. It's the least intuitive interface I've seen in a very, very long time. If let's say you're trying to look for a recipe, a particular recipe, a green recipe to complete a daily writ for provisioning or something like that. You've got a guaranteed recipe for eye bleed if you've ever tried looking for something that specific before. So when Awesome Guild Store came along, it really lifted my game in a big way. Let me quickly take you through some of the features. Now, let's say, for example, I want to look for materials. I want to look for blacksmithing materials. I click on the materials tab up here, I click on blacksmithing. Now immediately I've got a whole bunch of filters I can apply. I can put a price range, and this is for a whole stack of items sitting in a window. I can set the level range, so if I was looking for a weapon or a piece of armor, I could look for items between level 15 and level 20, and it will automatically filter them out of the list and just show me results. Quality range, right now I've filtered up to blue, so anything purple or yellow will not show up in my search as well. And I can also take white out of the formula. There we go. Now also unit price filter, and what this does is it will let me isolate by unit price. Here's a good example. At the moment I've got materials set up. I'm looking for blacksmithing materials. I'm looking for raw materials at the moment, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a unit price filter of 30 gold, hit start, and I've got nothing. Let me show you another beautiful thing about this though.
Damn's watch would have been overrun if you hadn't been there.
Yeah. And it's kept all the search filters from the last search that I did. And here we go, Galatite ore. I've got Galatite ore here for 30 gold per unit, and there are 100 of them at the moment. So there's 3,000 for the whole bunch. I can buy that as one. There's also 30 here for 30 as well. What I can do is go to normal materials just to re-anchor that, and I can set 15 as my price range. Start a search. And nothing was found. That's okay. There's nothing in that store that fits that criteria. And look, I can search by weapons, just to anchor that in as well. I can also filter one-handed, two-handed bows, all of that sort of stuff as well. Consumables, they all break down recipes, drinks, food, potions, motifs, containers, all that sort of stuff. It's in there. Materials again too, and we just had a quick look at that, but I can also isolate traits out as well. If I'm looking for a big stack of say emerald or whatever the case may be, I could go to the armor traits and this it's such a painfully obvious thing if you're going to be creating some sort of search functionality, especially something on that scale. I can just type emerald in here. How did you guys miss that? Here we go. This emerald here, and it's 15 a unit, 10 a unit as well. There's 2 of them. I can buy them from Alan 74. God bless you, Alan. Now another little feature that I love about this, up the top here, these are the last searches that I made, so I don't have to go and type all that criteria in as well. It's keeping it sequentially, so I could go back to this search here, double click it, bang, look at that, that's just awesome. Awesome Guild Store, you live up to your name. If you're planning to make some money from guild stores in this game, then this is an absolutely vital plugin. If you're constantly in guild chat asking people for price checks on items and things like that, then you really need to install this little program. Actually, little's not the word for it. I must be completely honest. If you have not limited the settings, put some filters in place, this one can be a massive memory drain. But when you look at the functionality of what it can do, then you'll understand why. What I'm going to do, let's open a bag here. Racial motif 3, the Wood Elves. Just from looking at this extended window that's popped up on the left hand side, which belongs to Master Merchant, I can see that in the last 92 sales have been made in the last 34 days, and they averaged at 257.47 gold per sale. Somebody sold one successfully somehow for 1,499. You can see it in the grid down the bottom there. Me personally, I wouldn't be going in that high. You can see it. The majority of them sitting around between the 200 and the 300 mark down the bottom, and that signifies all these tiny little green dots there. Now, there's also another function I really love about Master Merchant. And look, there's a list of everything that I've sold in the last while. So if I wanted to be finding out which stock is selling the best out of all the things that I'm producing or putting into my guild window, this will tell me. It will tell me how long ago it was since I sold it, what the item was, how much I sold it for on the right hand side, and also your guild. See, it gives you vital information like which guild, i.e. which guild trader position is working the best for you, which gives you a whole lot of useful information. And also look on the left hand side there, you can see a list of the names of the people who brought items off you as well. And you'll notice some important information. I've noticed that I've got regulars when I'm selling, and I can keep that relationship going. What I normally do is once I get up to the top end of what I'm selling, I'll send in an email saying, hey, look, I'm still willing to custom make stuff for you as you get further into the game as well. Just pop me an email anytime. Now if I click on the seller info as well, here's a breakdown of the guilds that I'm in. This one I left a little while ago, and the sales that I've made within whatever my specified time range is. Here I'm looking at the last 30 days at the moment. There's the sales, the tax that I've paid to those guilds, the amount of items that I've sold, and also the percentage, I'm assuming, of the total amount of sales that have been made by that guild. So you'll notice as soon as you log into the game, this plugin will start spidering all this information and updating your settings as you go. Look, that's fantastic. I love this. Absolutely love this. Here's a complete breakdown as well. I've sold 309 items, 90% from Guild Trader, 92%, and I've made 404,916,000 gold, which is 8,998 gold per day. My biggest sale was a Girdle of the Night Mother for 1,950 gold, and that's within a day range. I can change that, drop that down. Last week, Pauldron of Vampire's Kiss was the biggest thing that I sold, and I've averaged 10,366 gold per day, and again 283% from Guild Trader. So the only other things I can think of outside that I might not have sold through a Guild Trader might be Vampire Bites and that sort of stuff. Look, I love this. I absolutely love this plugin, and for making money in this game, it's absolutely taken my capacity to a new level as well. One thing I especially love about Master Merchant is, just close that, run a search, nothing found. Let's take the price limiters out. Bear with me. Let's run a search for everything. There we go. It will also work directly out of a guild store as well. Look at that. So, for example, I might be looking at Kelp Kivar. I can see here somebody selling it for 25. Nobody's selling that at the moment. Let's say 5.44. You know, you might go through the list and you can see something that looks suspiciously like it may sell for significantly more than what somebody's selling for. 79 for that recipe, while the average is 65. It helps you find those things that people accidentally list for 49 gold when really you should be selling them for 2,000 or 3,000 gold. You got to love that. One final very cool thing this add-on does as well is if somebody does want to price check, say, for crawlers in Guild Chat, I just right click on that and I send stats to chat, and there they are. I can share them. How cool is that? Multi-crafter takes repetition out of crafting, or more accurately turns it into a fire and forget operation. If you're trying to max out your provisioning, you can do it in 90 minutes or less using multi-crafter, as long as you've got all your recipes in place and all your ingredients stored up in your backpack. As the name implies, what multi-crafter will do is it will let you craft multiple of the same items. So rather than sitting there and clicking your mouse or pressing the E key repetitively, you can pretty much stack up a whole bunch. Let's have a look here. I'm going to move the slider up to we go 50. Press craft and walk away. 90 minutes or less for provisioning. It also works like magic for alchemy as well. If you've got all your reagents in place, then look, it's going to take the whole sting out of maxing those skills out for you. Strongly recommend it. Grab it now. If you like any of the add-ons that you've seen today and you want to install them, I strongly recommend firstly that you download a program called Minion. Now this is an add-on manager. It will let you search for add-ons, a much broader list than what I've given you today, and it will also let you download and install them onto your PC, and most importantly, as the updates become available, you can automatically update them from Minion as well. Anybody who's tried to manually install and update plugins in the past will know what a nightmare, how problematic that really can be. Minion will take care of all of that for you. Here's the URL up on the screen. Go check them out, give them a like, and download this program by all means. Install it on your computer. It's tiny, but you'll be happy that you did. And that concludes this video for today. I hope there's some useful stuff there for you. Look, if you took anything away of value for you, then all I ask for is a like and possibly a subscription if you haven't subscribed already. Thanks for watching.